About a third of the US adult population are grandparents, and more than 70% of middle-aged and older adults will become grandparents. As a parent, one of the most rewarding things that I see between a grandparent and a grandchild is the opportunity for the grandparents to share their wisdom and life experience with their grandkids. It takes on so many formats, from how to navigate life's challenges and teaching important life lessons to simply sharing stories and memories. In this video, I'm going to share 10 things that your grandchildren need to hear from you, so don't miss out on any of the juicy sharing. I'm Cyn Meyer, founder of Second Wind Movement, which is a resource for older adults who are striving to live their best retirement life full of purpose. And as a life coach for older adults, I hear a lot about the need to be needed, simply because your role changes as you morph into retirement. From parent of young children to parent of grown adult children, from employed to retired, and from parent to grandparent. So your needs change, and the way that you're needed are supposed to change as well, because we as humans are designed to develop and change at every life stage. Well, to help you maneuver some of this identity transitioning, here are 10 things your grandkids need to hear from you if you're a grandparent. Starting with number 1. You're loved and valued no matter what. Grandchildren are such a blessing, and of course, it's worth cherishing every moment that you have with them. What matters most is that they know that you love them unconditionally, and it's good for you too. In fact, a strong grandparent-grandchild relationship improves well-being and reduces depressive symptoms in both parties. So tell them often and show them in everything that you do. Maybe you're used to the love being implied, but kids need to hear the words "I love you" just as much as they need to see it in your actions. It's also worth noting that your adult kids still need to hear it too. One study of brain activity in 50 grandmothers reveals that the grandmother hypothesis is a real thing. As in, when looking at their grandchildren, they showed stronger emotional empathy than they did with their own children. So don't forget about the generation that's in between. Bonus tip: take an interest in the things that your grandkids and your kids enjoy doing. Ask questions, listen to their stories, and be totally present when they're talking to you. It'll mean the world to them. Number 2, it's okay to make mistakes. Grandchildren need to know that it's okay to make mistakes. We all do. Yes, even grandparents. It's a big part of life. But your grandchildren also need to hear that they have to learn from their mistakes. What counts is how you react to making a mistake. Do you learn from it and gain some empowerment, or do you let it defeat you? Wisdom tells us that making mistakes is not only one of the best ways to learn and grow as a person, but it's often the way to success. So tell them to try again and focus on doing their best instead. And bonus tip, remember to keep in mind their parents' priorities too when it comes to teaching your grandkids about mistakes and discipline, because discipline is the top disagreement among parents and grandparents on raising children. So it's worth getting on the same page. Number 3, you're never too old or too young to learn something new. One of the best pieces of advice for grandparents also goes for grandchildren, and it's to never stop learning. As a grandparent with experience and wisdom, you know that the world is constantly changing and that it's important to stay curious and open-minded. Whether it's learning a new skill or trying out a new hobby, encourage your grandkids to always be learning something new. And live it, show them by example. The more that they witness seeing you challenge yourself to learn new things, the better. Plus, lifelong learning does wonders for protecting against cognitive decline and increasing your brain plasticity, which, by the way, if you want to learn more about neuroplasticity, check out our resources in the description below this video. We've got a lot covered there. And bonus tip, learning doesn't always have to be serious. Sometimes the best things in life are the things that we learn by accident or through play. Number 4, I'm proud of you. Grandchildren need to hear that their grandparents are proud of them too, just like their parents are, no matter what. This helps them feel loved and supported unconditionally. Again, even if they make mistakes, you can be there for them. Tell them to try again and that you're proud of them and cheering them on. Not only will it ignite a growth mindset and make them feel good about themselves and encourage them to keep doing things the right way, but it'll make them more likely to come to you for advice and support in the future. Research shows that even ambiguous praise, like giving a high five, motivates children to try again after a failure. Ultimately, it shows them that you're interested in their lives. And side note, try to avoid comparing your grandkids to other people, especially their siblings or cousins. cousins. It's a risky road of just making them feel like they're not good enough, which is the opposite of being proud of them for their individual accomplishments and uniqueness. Number 5, you can do anything you put your mind to. Grandparents are usually a little more easygoing than parents. They've been around the block a few times and know that things usually have a way of working themselves out. When you tell your grandchildren that they can do anything they put their mind to, you further instill in them a sense of confidence, hope, and possibility. It's a way to let them know that they have control over their own destiny and that no matter what anyone says, they can achieve anything they set their mind to. And if you're familiar with our content, you know that we highly recommend touting a growth mindset, which is the idea that hard work, overcoming obstacles, and building resilience is the way to achieve what you want. In other words, you're not just born a certain way, like with or without a talent or intelligence level. You can actually work on it. A growth mindset teaches you to embrace problems and failures, and overcoming them is the way to success. This is an empowering message for any grandchild and person to hear. Number 6, you can always talk to me. Grandchildren need to know that they can always come to you for advice no matter what the problem is, given that you do want them to feel comfortable talking to you about anything and everything. This open line of communication helps you build a connection with them as another support resource, which is hugely important. I will note that it is worth making it a priority to encourage grandchildren to talk to their parents first. The last thing you want to do is go over your children's heads and misassume their parenting role. With over 27% of adults experiencing family estrangement, it's super important to respect the nuclear household dynamic and simply support it with more love versus overstepping boundaries and roles. Of course, in the unfortunate case where the grandchild's home base experiences like a family breakdown, then extra grandparenting support can be super helpful. A study found that children who had a close relationship and confided in their grandparents during a family disruption were better equipped to deal with that family adversity. So regardless of the situation, it's about supporting your family in the way that they need. While we advise you to be willing to listen to their problems and offer advice when they need it, there's a fine line that also rides respecting their privacy and allowing them to come to you on their terms. Number 7, trust your feelings. When you were young, your parents and teachers probably worked super hard to help you develop a strong sense of logic and reasoning. You learn to trust what you can see and touch, and to be skeptical of anything that can't be explained. This is definitely an essential skill for navigating the world safely and effectively, but arguably more important is the skill of cultivating your intuition and your feelings, the other half of our inner voice. Learning how to listen to your intuition and turning up the volume on that intuition helps you make better decisions and basically helps you in all areas of life, and specifically relationships. In fact, a 2012 study led by Eric Dane at Rice University found that experts using their intuition were nearly 20% more accurate than experts using analysis alone. So teaching kids how to develop their intuition is one of the best things both grandparents and parents can do for the kids. It's super important to trust your gut and go with your intuitive feeling. Like if something feels off, it probably is. Or if you have trouble making decisions, it's probably because there's so much outer distraction that you can't even hear your gut intuition. And actually, I do talk to several older adults who are conditioned to not trust themselves, and they haven't had the opportunity to practice going inward for the answers. And so they're facing a lot of challenges later in life. So it's super helpful to help your grandchildren get an earlier start on this practice of going inward and trusting your intuition. Number 8, it's okay to not be okay. One of the most important things that grandchildren need to hear is that all your feelings count. And it's okay to feel and talk about those feelings. All emotions are valid, and we're begrudgingly transitioning out of an era of repressing emotions. We're just starting to understand the severity of suppressing all those big feelings and how your body hangs onto these things and remembers them, and how it greatly impacts your future mental and physical health and relationships down the road. So with grandchildren in this modern age, let's treat all emotions, happiness, sadness, anger, and love as a natural part of life. So I understand that this tactic may be different from your parenting days or your parents' parenting days, but it will boost your grandchild's self-esteem, their self-acceptance, and their ability to metabolize all the emotions. It'll only help their relationships. For example, research shows that it's more effective to adopt an authoritative versus authoritarian parenting style. So support your grandchildren with a style that's congruent with their parents, hopefully authoritative parenting style. Number 9, let me show you. Teaching grandkids a skill can be super fun. Not only do they get to learn something new, but you also get to spend quality time with them. And even if it's something practical, that will help prepare them for whatever life throws their way. Research shows that older generations play a crucial role in developing children's understanding of how things work. It can be anything from playing chess or fixing a leaky faucet to keeping a diary and fighting for what's right. And finally, number 10, let me tell you a story. If you're a grandparent, you have a lifetime of experiences to share, and grandchildren and kids will probably love hearing about them. So don't be afraid to be that ultimate grandparent storyteller. An AARP grandparents survey revealed that while grandparents make important financial contributions to their grandchildren, they also share important wisdom and guidance. Things change so much from generation to generation, as we all know. So it's worth sharing the essence of your lifetime and keeping it alive. And if you're not much of a storyteller, try writing them down using a guided journal or prompts. There's these fun books that have prompts all set up and you just write your story in, like Grandma Tell Me Your Story and Grandpa Tell Me Your Story. It's a great way to leave a bit of a legacy too. All in all, don't leave anything unsaid. To recap the 10 things grandchildren need to hear. Number 1, you're loved and valued no matter what. You're never too old or too young to learn something new. It's okay to make mistakes. Number 4, I'm proud of you. Number 5, you can do anything you put your mind to. You can always talk to me. Trust your feelings. Number 8, it's okay to not be okay. Let me show you and let me tell you a story. Although you may not be with your grandchildren every day, you can provide them with the support and love by telling them things that they need to hear, and that will last throughout the days. So now these are just 10 things to say, but the most important underlying theme is to express love and support for our kids and grandkids in whatever way possible. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Every comment that you make helps us do our job better of creating content for older adults who are striving to be their best. So thank you so much for being here. We need more people like you who are willing to do the work and grow at all life stages. I am so grateful for you. I will see you in the next video.